I lived in those books, in the worlds they built, solid, real, full of meaning. We wrote this poem from John's perspective, and because he was an English literature major, poetry and books and history have always been such a big thing for us. And this expresses how he's dealt with his diagnosis and what it means to him. Once you have a diagnosis of dementia, it doesn't mean that there's an absence of meaning and joy. Your life is just different. It's about finding meaning in the moment, a smile, a laugh, my husband's sense of humor.
Go for it. Dig all the worms you want. Every worm you want to dig, dig.
Okay. But we find laughter in every day. And I think that's where joy comes in, is recognizing that he's still here, I'm still here. And while the future may be different than we thought, it is filled with plenty of laughter and plenty of joy every day. I'm Kim Webb, and you are?
I'm John Webb on a good day.
Always my John Webb. We met in 1985. I had just moved to Washington as a fledgling financial advisor, and John was a successful realtor. You saw me out the window and decided to come down and introduce yourself. We had a great talk, and you asked me out.
Was it truly, truly a lovely day?
It was perfect. We were in the Grand Canyon, and we'd gone to Bryce and Zion. And at the lodges at the rim of the Grand Canyon, there were a lot of little cabins, and you couldn't find your way back to our cabin. And I wrote down the number, and I showed you many times, and you could not find that cabin. And I started connecting all the dots, and I just knew. I knew you had dementia that day. My dad found out he had stage 4 stomach cancer, and we found out John had dementia within a week of each other. I ended up calling at like 2 a.m. I called the 800 number for the Alzheimer's Association, and this amazing man answered, and I cried and sobbed, and he just was so present and gave me all sorts of resources that really helped me think through next steps. And John likes to use this, I love this analogy. He says, imagine me as a sailboat, and now Louis is part of the sailboat. John was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia in March of 2022. So now John and Louis live in the sailboat, and sometimes
we coexist.
You coexist in the sailboat, and sometimes you're in control of the sailboat.
Often I'm not.
Often you're not. And what's harder is, it's like Louis gets under the bottom of the boat, you say, and punches holes in the bottom of the boat. And so the other reason to be diagnosed, if you're worried about cognition, is you really kind of need a healthcare team supporting you to help patch the boat.
No matter how remote, you must patch the boat.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You live with it and through it.
She had an ambition.
And it becomes your reality.
Baby, I got you.
John was so brave when he found out he was diagnosed. He was the one that told our family and our friends so that everyone could kind of learn how to support him.
Oops. I got you, babe.
In the time you have left, what would you say your purpose is? You took 1 second to respond. You knew exactly what it was. You looked me in the eyes and you said, it's simple. Every day for the rest of my life, I want my daughters to know how much I love them.
So true. So true.
I got a little choked up on that one.
I did too. I am here. I exist. And it's clear to me now that this is a long-term journey. Everything that we do as Alzheimer's patients, full of hope and joy, full. The message.
The message is, this is the era of hope. And we want them to be bold. We want them to engage. We want them to be present and compassionate and show their love tonight by giving generously. We can make a difference today in this era of hope.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself.
We'll say it into the camera.
Okay.
The world doesn't make sense like it used to, but the books taught me that too. Sometimes the truth is found in the spaces between the words. So I hold on to that, just like I hold on to you. And when the fog settles in, I remember that every journey has its twists and turns, its moments of confusion, its pauses before the plot moves forward again. Even now, I see the echoes of these stories, the threads that still connect us, not by the words I can't always find, but by the love that remains constant, binding us like the spine of a well-worn book.